Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to BSV TV. I'm your host Satoshi, and on this show we'll be defending the one and only, truly genuine Bitcoin. The Bitcoin that Satoshi Nakamoto designed in his white paper as a peer-to-peer electronic cash system for the world. Let's get the disclaimers out of the way. So all the statements that you hear on this show are opinion and must only ever be taken as opinion. They are never to be taken as any form of advice, family, financial, sexual or otherwise. And on that note, let's sit back, relax, have some fun and enjoy the show. Get paid for your content in Bitcoin and set your own fee on Streamanity.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. I wasn't asked why I'm convinced. Craig is Satoshi. I posted on Reddit. He signed in my presence using the private key from block number one, the very first mined Bitcoin block, on a computer that I'm convinced had not been tampered with, on software I'm convinced that had not been tampered with, a message of my choosing.
At InChain, we've just funded a number of universities doing, so far, a test up to 1 gigabyte because it validates what we've already done independently. We've tested up to 380 gigabyte blocks. We've tested 1 million transactions a second and transaction sizes up to 20 megabytes. Super complex scripts, basically ones that can run operating systems. That's basically all of global commerce times about 50. On top of that, we can have complex scripts. On top of that, we can scale each of those transactions 1,000 times, which effectively means about 1 billion transactions per second, which means we can then have all derivatives, all complex trades. That means high frequency trading. It means everything that happens globally.
Is the market that effectively BSV is going for, is that global e-commerce, which is currently valued at $29 trillion?
No, that's too small.
Buy and sell Bitcoin instantly at bsvgravity.com. And you can now book and pay for your winter holiday at skibsv.com. Way, good afternoon everybody. It looks like we are live at 5 once again. Let me just check all these show statistics. Yeah, it looks like we are recording. The kilobytes per second looking okay. We are in the green. It looks like we are off skis. Rocking and rolling. Just got my tomato soup ready for my show so I can feel comfortable. Let's rock and roll. So the reason we broadcast on Twitch is because YouTube has taken down 2 of my channels. Then they were preventing me from editing my shows, and then they were deleting my episodes. So I was like, right, now we're going to broadcast on Twitch TV. Then we're going to upload the trailer onto YouTube. Then we're going to upload the full episode onto Streamanity, where you can set your own fee according to what you think about the quality of your content. So let's crack on with it. Just going to start with this opening image because nothing describes Bitcoin better than the image that we are currently looking at. Now, rather than sort of like me using my own descriptions of what we're looking at here, I'm actually going to allow other people to describe what we're looking at here. So, first of all, obviously Bitcoin started at the Genesis block, and then on August the 1st we had the first chain split. Now, when the chain splits, it means that there is a fundamental disagreement between different parties. Now, the parties that want to change things are meant to change the name so that other people understand they are making changes. However, that is not what happened. Blockstream, a party who wanted to fundamentally change how Bitcoin worked so that it was no longer a peer-to-peer electronic cash system. So in their words, it was like digital gold, that you weren't meant to use it, that you should stop spamming the network, that they weren't going to scale it, that you weren't meant to use it, it's only for really wealthy transactions, we're going to ramp up the fees. And speaking to devs who have recently undone all the shit that they put on there, this dev has said literally when you looked at the code that Core had left behind, it was like they had nuked it with an atomic bomb. It was absolutely horrendous. He said there is no way anybody who even had a clue what they were doing could F it up that badly. It was left that way so that there was so that it would have been a really hard job to put it back together. It was almost like a retreating army burning all the villages so that the incoming army didn't have any assets to basically take over. Is what it was like. That is what they did to it. And if you don't believe me that Blockstream did that to Bitcoin and don't have control of it, listen to what their chief strategy officer, Samson Mao, said in an interview with Simon Dictwit and Max Kaiser. Here we go.
Bitcoin was created by the central bankers that enslave you today. It is their scapegoat.
How do you answer those, Max and Stacey?
I think the evidence is clear that they do not control it. There's 10 years, almost 11 years now of track record.
Yeah, Blockstream controls it. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Who does?
Blockstream.
Oh,
all right.
I was looking at you when I said that.
Yeah, I'm a Blockstream. I have a spy. I'm one of the spies. No, so this. It's an interesting. Now that there's.
Yeah, it is interesting now that there's So Michael Saylor has no idea about the politics that have gone on with Bitcoin, but he has studied Bitcoin. He knows the technicals of it really well. He understands the fundamentals. He knows what Bitcoin is. He knows nothing about the political situation. So let's listen to how enthusiastic Michael Saylor is about Bitcoin.
I like Bitcoin the way it is. In fact, I love Bitcoin the way it is. And the way it's currently constructed, it is possible to put all $250 trillion of monetary energy in big blocks of encrypted energy on the blockchain. Maybe the Bitcoin will be $1 million. You can probably calculate $10 million of Bitcoin or something. Big blocks. $100 million chunks on the blockchain. It'll store all the monetary energy in the world, and it should store it for the next 100 years without losing any of it. If Bitcoin's going to fail, it's not going to fail due to lack of functionality or lack of speed or lack of scalability. In my opinion, if Bitcoin is going to fail, it's going to fail because of it loses trust and security. We have to protect the network integrity at all cost.
And that's exactly why the chains were split as they were, Michael, because that's exactly what we were doing, protecting the integrity of the chain. So if a group of developers are going to attack Bitcoin, the first thing they're going to attack are the signatures, because it's the signatures that hold all the users and developers on the network to account so that no one can do anything on the network that nobody else would know about. Which is why Roger Ver and his chronomates thought then they would attack the signatures by creating Schnorr signatures that hide the transactions so that it was non-regulatory compliant, so that international trade and global commerce can never use it. And if you don't believe me, have a listen to what Roger Ver said in his interview. Here we go.
I have a question here from Satoshi, defender of Bitcoin. He said, if a cryptocurrency is anonymous, like BCH, I don't think BCH is anonymous, but maybe there is something.
Check out cashfusion.com and you combine that with reusable payment codes and you get Bitcoin Cash in the same sort of ballpark of privacy as Monero. It's really awesome. So you can check out Cashfusion. And I always get it wrong. I think it's .com, but it might be .org. So you can check both. Cashfusion.com.
Okay, awesome. So BCH, maybe using Cash Fusion and XMR, if they're anonymous, how can a business get legal recourse against a supplier if the supplier defaults and no proof on the transaction exists because anon?
Yeah, if you want your cryptocurrency to be perfectly legal for everything all the time, just go use your Visa card. Just go use your PayPal, right? What do you need a cryptocurrency for? You can do all of it with a centralized, fully legal and fully compliant payment platform, right? So go use PayPal. I think you've missed the entire point. The entire point of cryptocurrencies is that by technological design, they are beyond the reach of the law. They're above the law. That's why, imagine if Bitcoin could have been shut down by governments, they probably would have shut it down from right out of the gate. And it's the fact that Bitcoin can't be shut down. We should ask the BSVers this: if they pass a law saying BSV needs to shut down their blockchain, are they going to obey and shut down their BSV blockchain? I hope the answer would be no. Which is just a lot of the stuff I see from some of these BSVers are silly. But then there's other BSV fans that, I'm very, very sympathetic to their way of thinking. But the ones that say that the blockchains all need to be legally compliant about everything all the time, just go use your Visa card.
Thanks, Roger. I will. So I wouldn't touch BCH with a barge pole, because I'd be outing myself as a criminal. And if you wonder why I call it B-Crash, because it's an absolute piece of shit coin, that's what Roger calls it as well. Have a listen.
And we're going to really spread Bitcoin crash across the entire country here in Antigua.
Good luck with that, Roger. Now, let's have a listen to what Satoshi Nakamoto, the creator of Bitcoin, says about money and power. So money has to be a commodity. A commodity is something that is common to everyone. So in other words, anyone and everyone can access it, so long as they have the resources to be able to do it. There is no sense of authority stopping you from accessing it, like there is with a security. So for example, take Ripple. You can only get Ripple from Ripple Labs, because they're the people who create it, they're the people who sell it. That is absolutely a security, because XRP is entirely dependent on the company Ripple. Ripple disappears, XRP vanishes with it. It is not common to anyone at all. So this is what Satoshi Nakamoto says about commodity money and the point of Bitcoin. Here we go.
This is what it all comes down to. See, what people don't understand is Bitcoin with a stable protocol takes away power. If no one can change the protocol, not me, not God, there's no power in money. Money is all about power. And this is one of the things Bitcoin has done. It has removed that power. It will remove that power globally.
There we go. Remove that power globally. So that gives you an indication as to the size of the market that Bitcoin is intended for. So let's have a listen to what Satoshi Nakamoto wants, or have his intentions of Bitcoin are. Here we go.
At the end of the day, we own a lot of Bitcoin. The simple thing is, if we make the network scale, we make it bigger, my main compensation, more than anything anyone could ever pay me, is the price of Bitcoin goes up. So that's my pure drive. I want Bitcoin not to go up to 10,000 or 100,000. I want it to be worth millions per Bitcoin. That's it. And that's what we spend money for. Very simple.
There we go. That's it. That's what they spend money for. Very simple. Developing, scaling, creating volume, all sorts of things happening on it. So just for educational purposes, let's bring up my coin crap chart. Just to explain to everybody, you will see that this coin type on the end here, which is a pile of poo, matches every coin that is labeled a security. Security, 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 shitcoin, 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 shitcoin. They all have central points of authority or control, which means they can never be used as money. They are securities. The only one that is a genuine commodity is Litecoin. But Charlie Lee, the creator, discredits it himself because he has admitted from the start that he created it. So therefore, he has not created anything that anyone else couldn't create themselves, which is why he exit scammed the shit out of it. So let's listen to what Charlie Lee says about his creation in an interview, shall we?
You created Litecoin, right? So this has to be something like you're incredibly passionate about.
Yeah, as most of you probably know, I kind of created it just for fun, right? Didn't really expect it to become anything.
Thanks for that, Charlie. No, I didn't know that, but I do now. However, it's a bit late because you've exit scammed out of the top. So let's just remind ourselves, what is it that shitcoiners say?
Hey, hey, hey.
Hey, hey, hey. Any shitcoiners that sound like that touch shitcoins, stay the F away from. Because they are bad news. They are dabbling in absolute shit. You will lose everything. And I mean everything. Right, so now that we've gone through that, let's just have a quick look at these articles. Because we need to find out what went on yesterday with regard to this double spend thingy-majig. So, this was, I was actually listening to the BSV channel yesterday, and Kurt Wattert was actually explaining this double spend, but I thought, you know what, not really all that technical, but you know, I need to know about this, because there has been a massive marketing push from these shitcoiners to basically write this double spend off. Oh, a double spend didn't happen. Oh, yeah, you're wrong. That's the incorrect definition of it. How dare you say that? No, from everything that I've heard, it was a classic double spend using the replace by fee that Blockstream have put on the network. So in other words, using their own code against them, because their own code is an absolute pile of shit and is not what Bitcoin was meant to be. But shitcoiners wouldn't understand that anyway. So let's have a listen to, let's read what Kurt Wattert said here. So he said, double spend newspeak and the case for magic numbers. Magic is dead. Not just the prestigination of the talented illusionist, but also the worship of the trees, the breeze, or the mythos, the mythos of one's own creator. Miracle and magic have been replaced with banal technology and pop science, while the assumption of an intellect creator, or an intelligent creator, has been replaced with the boredom of chance. From the halls of education to the droning of the mainstream media, we are told nothing really matters because there was no genesis and there is no greater purpose. Human development is just one more community project, and much like the Bitcoin civil war, the uninspired working class looks at all the reality as soulless and godless. Everything is what it is for no reason except then the market has chosen. If magic exists at all, it is in the minds of children, on the fringes of maths or science, and in Bitcoin, a vast trichotomy. Bitcoin, the real Bitcoin, is the study of human incentives and goes over the heads of almost everyone who tries to understand. Why? Because Bitcoin is not a technological marvel, even though the people want it to be. The reason they want it to be tech is because they hate that humans are essentially magic. Stardust woven together by unknown means and given the breath of life from somewhere that can't be fully explained. Very deep, very deep. People hate the real study of Bitcoin because they hate the notion of intelligent design and the responsibility of self-sovereignty. If Bitcoin is implemented in the image of its creator, the responsibility to learn about the fringes of Bitcoin from that creator would require humility, and that is just too hard a step for most people. The fact that Bitcoin's perfection is its imperfection. It's a game that spits out magic numbers that have value because humans ascribe them value, because we have a hole in our hearts that can only be filled with purposeful and deliberate humility about our lack of completeness. Without human imperfection, we would not need Bitcoin. And without Bitcoin's imperfections, it would not need humans. Satoshi breathed life into Bitcoin with his proof of work, and we humans continue to give it life because we are symbiotical, turning the magic number machine so that it rewards us. Imperfection plus free will incentivize, and proof of work are perfection. A man named David once wrote, "The heavens declare the glory of God, and the firmament shows his handiwork. It's as if there's a planned structure to everything in the world that works, but the pursuit of perfection leaves everything in ruins. From Bitcoin to the very nature of reality. The seasons, the plagues, and even our tiny spot in the universe, chaos is the ingredient that completes the perfect recipe for a brilliant designer." So we've got, this infuriates the perfectionist. This is why the small blockers have spent a decade trimming finesse and trying to mold Bitcoin to conform to their own notions of perfection. And it is why they continue to redefine the protocol and redefine the words which describe it. We've got a picture of Greg Maxwell there saying, "I'd already proven that decentralized consensus was impossible." That's why the magic of Bitcoin has been rationalized away in BTC and replaced with talk of price charting and perfection of tech. It is also why so many people refuse to recognize the BTC double spend that took place on January 21st. And then I got a quote here from George Orwell, said, But if thought corrupts language, language can also corrupt thought. Perfection, failure, and the rage of the small blockers. On the 21st of January, a double spend was detected on the BTC mainnet, reported first by BitMEX Research. So I said here, there was a stale Bitcoin block today at height 666833, slush pool and beaten F2 pool in a race. It appears that if a small double spend of around 0.0006263 BTC, $21, was detected. From there, the false prophet of the small blockers, Andreas Antonopoulos, went into small media overdrive to explain how the $21 double spend was not actually double spent at all because it was not accompanied by a inflation bug to create more than 21 million coins. Exactly, and an inflation bug has got nothing to do with a double spend. A double spend just means you can spend it twice. Doesn't mean there's like more being created. That can't happen because Greg made Bitcoin perfect. Across the Silicon Valley-owned crypto media, reports went out aggressively to redefine a double spend in Bitcoin as an inflation event. There was no inflation, so there was no double spend, they cried, in relative phrases. So to the BTC perfectionists, money was removed from a wallet, given to another, and the block was erased. Someone who received the transaction and had a block confirmation had their transaction reversed, but this is not news and not a double spend according to the high priest of BTC Core and their surrogates. We truly live in an era of newspeak as the perfectionists try to kill all the magic that exists in Bitcoin. And just in the nick of time, as if orchestrated by Big Brother to make sure that the people are distracted, the E84 bull returned with his money to save everyone's empty souls. The collectivist chant on, the market has chosen. Oh my goodness me. So Michael Saylor put out a tweet on the 22nd of January. Yeah, to basically, oh my, like, he's basically doing a Nick Leeson. Like, he's doing a Nick Leeson on the crypto market with his own money. Like, he is going to fail. He is going, oh my, if he continues like that, he will go bankrupt. Just like Nick Leeson bankrupted Barings Bank, literally just trying to claw back what he'd lost. Like, oh my goodness me. So Michael Saylor in his tweet said, MicroStrategy has purchased approximately 314, that's core coin, for $10 million in cash, in accordance with its Treasury Reserve policy, at an average price of approximately 31,808 per coin. We now hold approximately 70,784. Well, remember, he says Bitcoins, that's BTC, so that's core coin. Dear, oh dear. Dear, oh dear. Again, I think that's positive cortisol flooding his brain. He believes he can control the market himself. He has no idea what he's up against. Like, no idea. I mean, he started MicroStrategy when he was really young, and it looks like he's got lucky his entire life. Really lucky and done really well for himself. But, and he probably thinks he can win everything. Because, to him, he's probably the biggest Mac Daddy in the room. He has no idea, like, who Satoshi is or how much power Satoshi has. I don't think he's ever seen the hand of Satoshi move. I've seen it once, and that was massively impressive. But that's nothing compared to what's coming. Nothing. So he said, but almost everyone missed the magic. It was a double spend, a magic one. While everyone was distracted by the golden bull, the arbitrary change in the meanings of the words, the fear of capitulation, and the loss of their precious fiat valuation, they ignored something special, something deeply symbolic, something that if unintentionally by man, must have been a nudge from the Almighty. So I'm assuming a nudge from the Almighty is probably the hand of Satoshi at work there, I think. It was not just a double spend. The story broke on the 21st day at 21:21 Universal Time in the 21st year of the 21st century on a network with 21 quadrillion units. That was a magically small exploit of USD $21 on the BTC network, and nobody seemed to care, at least not yet. Long live magic. Wow. Yeah. So without a doubt, like that was a double spend. And again, it's just the BTC chorus, the Cool Coin chorus, trying to dampen it down. because they're a bunch of crooks. You know, we know that Andreas Antonopoulos hasn't got a clue what he's talking about. There's nothing that makes sense in his book whatsoever. A complete charlatan, paid shill now. Absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. So yeah, that was one of the articles I wanted to have a quick look at. But let's have a quick look at. Do you know, I was actually getting excited looking at these figures earlier. Oh, you can see I'm now using Maxthon browser. This is new for me. Here we go. www.coin.dance. Let's see what this looks like. So I'm moving everything to Bitcoin. Had somebody else contact me earlier today, telling me that Twitter had taken their profile down, for no reason, no warning, no nothing. Just said, "Oh, your Twitter account has broken the violated Twitter rules." She said that she wasn't even using it. So they're coming. They're coming. You know, they're gonna think of some excuse. Which is why I have this as my my banner picture. Have a look. I've just updated this today. Anybody who's involved in big tech and has seen the recent movies like The Greatest Hack and something like the Digital Dilemma, they know exactly what that image is all about. Right, so check this out. Right, so we've got Bitcoin. Again, I'm not referring to these shitcoins. I really have got no time for a core coin or Bcrash whatsoever. So we've got Bitcoin with 0.8% of the hash rate, 2.1% of the nodes, 34.2% of transactions, and 29.8% of the block size. Now, this is what I'm more interested in, because this tells you what is going on. Like, the mining is the politics of Bitcoin. You know, like the fundamentals are set in stone. They're either broken or they're intact. That's it. Whereas this tells you what is happening, like under the bonnet. This is the revving engine. This is the mining network of Bitcoin. So we can see what is going on. All you've got to do is lift the bonnet and have a look at its revving engine. So we're just going to see, so Hathor's still mining blocks on Bcrash. We'll play spot the biggest block on Bcrash. Looks like relatively small blocks today. They're going down. BTC top just mining a 1 megabyte block. We've got a 1.4 from BTC top. Yeah, another one, 1.4 from Antpool. We've got a 2.2 from Antpool. So 2.24, biggest one in that column. And then we have a look at Corecoin. And unfortunately, Michael Saylor, you're going to have to just the numbers speak for themselves. There is no way that Corecoin is going to scale, because Blockstream do not want it to scale, because Blockstream have to do what their paymasters want, and their paymasters have got suspiciously close links to the Federal Reserve. So what do you think the Federal Reserve wants when they've been able to print as much money as they want without anybody holding them accountable? Do you think they want a competitor coming along? Do you think they actually want a genuine commodity money? Or do you think they want the power to just basically print the monopoly money that they've been doing for the last 50 years? I would go for option 2 probably. Right, but let's have a look on Bitcoin here. So I mean, this is actually really interesting. So we've got Tal mining big blocks here, big blocks of data. Again, like 2.2. Again, like 1 megabyte, 1 megabyte, 1 megabyte. And a Norpool mempool, well, they'd mined a big block the other day. But we'll have a look at. So Huobi is mining relatively small data blocks. So if you ask me, I think Unknown Miner is there to actually prevent Huobi from winning the majority of the blocks on the chain. However, Huobi is not mining large data blocks. It appears to be, from previously what we saw, it's basically Tal and Norpool mempool that are focusing on creating large blocks and processing large amounts of data, which means they are anticipating the future and adding value to the network. So when that large amount of data comes along, Huobi won't be able to compete with them, because it will only be the large data blocks that get processed. So until that happens, I think the unknown miner is actually competing with Huobi to prevent Huobi from just simply you know, scooping up all the all the bitcoins in the small blocks. But Huobi will be competed out of the market when huge volumes of data start coming through, because it just simply won't be able to process them. Whereas Tal and Norpool Mempool will be there, ready to scoop up all the large amounts of transactions. So that is when miners are going to have to pull their socks up and really start upping their game. You know, that's kind of like what I'm seeing here. So I mean, look at this: Huobi unknown, Huobi unknown, Huobi unknown. Yeah, I think this is why Unknown Miner was Unknown Miner and Hathor have been are on the chain, basically preventing these shitcoin enterprises from just basically sort of like, you know, winning easy blocks. If you ask me, so I think that's huge. So as we know, Tal have not been mining on Coolcoin, and I don't think Mempool, Norpool are either. So they are anticipating in the very near future huge volumes of transactions, and Unknown Miner and Hathor are preventing these other shitcoiners from stealing too many blocks with very little data in. So I think Hathor and Unknown Miners are basically protecting Tal and Mempool, Norpool. That's what I see in this situation here. F2 Pool has mined a block. Did I see BTC.com in here just a minute ago? Oh yeah, I did see BTC.com. They've mined a small block. I don't think I've ever seen Pool in mine a block, but let's have a look at these graphs. So hash rate by network, again. So hash rate just simply follows price, which follows value, which follows utility. When something has utility, it can then have a value. When it has a value, it can then develop a price. When it develops a price, it can then be measured against the cost of other goods and services and be used as a medium of exchange. Proof of work by network, again, Coolcoin, Bcrash will just stop overnight one day. Hash rate, Bcrash versus Bitcoin. Proof of work, Bcrash versus Bitcoin. Transaction fees is more like it's 30,000 times cheaper to transact on Bitcoin than Coolcoin. But it's 12.2% more profitable to mine on Coolcoin, so it shows the demand for Bitcoin there. So you've got daily average Bitcoin transactions per block by network. Oh, Coolcoin just winning there. It looks like Bcrash are tailing off. Daily Bitcoin transactions by network. Ooh, Bitcoin Cash, like trying to give everyone a run for their money. Transactions per block by network again. Bitcoin Cash trying to give everyone a run for their money. Fees USD, Bitcoin smashing it. Fees Satoshis, there we are. That's more like it. Bitcoin smashing it. Block reward ratio, well, again, you know, that would just simply come with transaction volumes on the chain, really. Proof of work, well, this is a daily accumulated Bitcoin blockchain growth by network. Just laughing at Bcrash there, absolutely hilarious. Right, so global hash rate 7 days. Binance just moving BTC.com down into 4th place. 24 hours. Oh, BTC.com being beaten by both Antpool and Binance there. Coolcoin. So this is the one we want to pay attention to. So Binance down in 5th place. And Antpool just squeezing BTC.com down into 4th. Bcrash. So again, I mean, BTC top just must be a massive shitcoin along with Antpool, because that's part of Bitmain, along with BTC.com. That's also Bitmain. And Hathor on there just increasing the competition for them for no reason other than sheer spite. But wow, look at this. Look at this. Wow, yeah, Tal turning up the heat. So Huobi is on Coolcoin. Huobi has reduced their amount of hash rate on Bcrash. You know, it looks like they've put it onto Bitcoin. But Tal taking it to them today. Great stuff. BTC.com wanting it for whatever reason. F2 Pool on there. So it's just Pooling is the only other big one that's missing. But I mean, Binance isn't on there. That's absolutely hilarious. Again, like Antpool's not on there, which is hilarious. So I mean, this is why. So look at the profitability. This is why other miners are not on it. So so all the miners on Bitcoin are actually losing 12% due to mining on Bitcoin rather than the core coin. So yeah, you've got to ask yourself, what incentives do they have? Well, if you ask me, I would say that Tal and obviously Mempool Norpool, they have the fundamental desire to be on it. Whereas I think these other ones are just hedging their bets. They're just like shitcoin enterprises, which is why they're not focusing on processing large blocks with large quantities of data in them. But they're going to get served, because, you know, Bitcoin is all about investing. If you're not investing for the future, you will just simply be out-competed. That is what Bitcoin is all about. So you can see who are competing for it by the size of the blocks they're processing. And I can tell have just recently ramped up their block processing. So yeah, really exciting times to come. Oh, and I'll have to go to this other website now. My favorites. Maybe I should add something on here. So this is Maxon browser that I'm using for the first time today. So there we go. Add one. Search. So what? Bitcoin blocks.live. Will that show? What happens here? So just the websites. Oh, we'll just go to Google and search for that. That's the one we want. Here we go. This is the chain working live in front of our very eyes. So we got transactions coming up a little bit. They've been a bit low recently, but looking at three transactions a second there. Again, the vertical rectangular blocks at the top are the transactions being recognized by the nodes on the network. Below that, we can see who's generating those transactions, and then we've got the transaction ID, the input, the output, and the type and the op return. Then we've got the mempool below that, which is where the transactions are then placed after they've been recognized by the nodes on the network. And it is here that miners and payment processors compete to process the transaction, put it in a block, win the block reward, which is the coin base of currently 6.25 Bitcoin, and store the block on the blockchain. So these here looks like the blocks that Tal have just mined recently. And then in the highlighted rectangular box below that, we've got the hash, the height, who it was mined by, size, date, time, transaction count, and total fees in the block. So it's anticipated that the fees in the block will surpass the block reward in Q1 of this year. So I've just improved this image here. So check this out. This is what we need to be paying attention to. Somebody has anticipated that the crossover of transactions in comparison to the block reward, which is $1,000, and remember the block we just looked at just had $3 of fees. So basically, I mean, there is a huge volume of transactions anticipated very soon, coming from somewhere. Someone knows something. And if you ask me, you know, if you just sort of like join the dots, we've seen Tal get this $3.5 million loan in BSV from Right International Investments. So surely the loan could just be given in BTC if they were going to dump it immediately and use it to expand their operations. So I personally think that they're expecting a huge spike in the price of BSV very soon, so that they can then use that BSV in order to massively expand their mining operations. But they would only need to massively expand their mining operations if there were huge volumes of transactions coming on chain. That's the only reason they would need to expand. So the money is there, ready for huge expansion when the huge volume of transactions comes on chain, followed by price movement. Like, this is the only indication that I can think of for those actions taking place. Like, it is going to be absolutely huge. Get your tweet etched on Twitch, forever on the Bitcoin blockchain. Do it today at www.jointwitch.com. Buybsv.live, the best place to buy Bitcoin SV online. And there we'll finish the show. So as ever, be aware, take care, stay safe out there, joy given, same time tomorrow. Catch you later. Get paid for your content in Bitcoin and watch the full episode on Streamanity for just 20 cents. Go to www.satoshi.tv. See the link in the description below. Bitcoin, one world, one chain.